Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here on KIDO Talk Radio. We are promoting our school, securing our future, thanks to our friends at CapEd Credit Union and Team Mazda Subaru. We're at the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine. Once again, their first year in existence, Idaho's first medical school. It's amazing to be here. We'll have some digital elements for you coming up on KIDOTalkRadio.com, some photos, some videos. And we want to make sure that, obviously, you get the information you need how ICOM will impact us here in Idaho. Joining us now is Kiefer. He is a first-year medical student from the University of Idaho. Would that be Go Vandals for you?
Go Vandals.
Go Vandals, all right. Why, out of all the places to go in the country, would you choose ICOM? What was the benefits for you, sir?
Well, I'm a native Idahoan, so when I heard that there was going to be a medical school here in Idaho, I was pumped. I've always wanted to stay in the Northwest. I've had a desire to help the people in my community. My family's from Twin Falls. My siblings live in Pocatello, so having a good support system nearby was really important to me. So that's why I chose ICOM.
Sure. What do you make of all these people? Idaho is such a unique state. On one hand, it's one of the least populated, but that seems to be changing. As an Idaho native, your thoughts on all these crazy, wacky people moving in?
Absolutely.
To your native home state, sir.
It's actually kind of cool. When we first were starting with our orientation this year, I remember hearing a couple of the students talk about how awesome Idaho was and how they're so glad they aren't confusing it with Iowa anymore. And,
right.
And how, it really is the gem state, but not just because we've got a bunch of cool stuff in the ground, but because there's cool people here, lots of stuff to do. It's like the hidden gem of the United States. And so I'm excited to see how these people coming in from all over are going to change, hopefully, healthcare in Idaho. So,
when we take a look at why someone would want to become a doctor, that's such a big decision at such a young age.
Absolutely.
Commitment-wise, time-wise, financial-wise, brain power-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Kiefer, why?
I like I was saying earlier, it's kind of hard when you're in it for the right reasons, when it's hard to put into words why you're doing it, because nobody wants to be here for 16 hours a day studying. And
16 hours a day?
There's days. And you're giving it your all the time, and you're spending a lot of money to be here. But in the end, you get to think about what you're going to be able to do for a patient's life. And there's really not, in my opinion, there are very few professions where you get to make this much of an impact in somebody's life. So keeping that end game in mind, it's kind of what gets you through.
Sure. How are your classes here different from college and high school?
Oh, my gosh. I think I covered all of my biochemistry, what I learned in undergrad, in like 3 days for what would be like a semester. So it's like fast. They're pumping information out of you. You're here all day, about 8 hours class a day. It's a lot of information. For the most part, it's getting to be pretty cool. Now we're starting to learn about specific systems and the diseases that will affect them. So now it's starting to pique everybody's interest, and we're reminded why we're here and why we thought this was interesting.
Sure. And when you think about a first-year medical school and being a part of history, do you have time to really comprehend that, or is it biochem this and anatomy and phys that?
Yeah, occasionally. They've been really good about reminding us that, with all these cool events, the word inaugural comes in all of them. So you get to take a step back and think, wow, this is the first time that this is going to happen for ICOM. And I get to be a part of it, and that's really awesome. So.
How big a technology is part of your curriculum here?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. They give us an iPad at the beginning of the semester, and it's got all our books on it, which a lot of people were hesitant about, but it works awesome. You can take all your notes on them. You get all your slide PowerPoints on them. We can rewatch all of our lectures on them. It's huge. And some of the things that they thought of, I wouldn't have even thought of in a million years. So it's been really helpful. Absolutely.
Right. The thought of using a book seems antiquated to you now? Or
yeah.
You've been indoctrinated with the iPad?
Yeah. I have a few of the hard copies for the bigger books, but it's working great.
Indeed. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully in a residency program.
Right.
I don't know where. Hopefully, with the changes that ICOM is trying to make in Idaho residency opportunities for us, I get to stay close by to family. And if not, hopefully I'll be back after that's over.
What would you say to people that, like most of us, we like to be in control of our own destiny. We don't like to go on airplanes. We don't like to see doctors. what would you say to try and relieve the stress associated with going to see a doctor? Because for most of us, it's never good news.
Sure. I would say, for the most part, I think the way that medicine is changing a lot. The way doctors are trained to interact with patients is changing a lot. We are trained to be caring and competent physicians. We're not trained to just look at a disease and tell you what the disease is. We're trained to kind of be your friend, kind of get to know you. So I would say, for the people who are nervous about seeing a doctor, do your research and maybe look into seeing a DO. Nothing against the other profession, but, just I can only speak from what we're trained to do.
Right.
And hopefully, get to build those relationships so that it's not as weird as it is now.
Kind of like our relationship here right now, kind of weird.
Yeah, right.
But I get that with just about everybody I meet. I think it's a me thing, not a you thing.
No, I don't think so. It's good.
Anything else you would like to share with us here today, sir? By the way, we do wish you good luck, and not everybody can do what you're doing, so Good luck to you. Anything you'd like to say?
I would say for people in the community, come check out the school. We do tours every Wednesday, and it's a really awesome.
It's
really
just
awesome
on
place.
Wednesdays. You just can't show up with your cup of coffee on Monday or Friday or.
Yeah, I think it's just on Wednesday. You
Okay.
schedule it in. It's a really cool place, and the people who work here are really knowledgeable, and they'll be able to tell you a lot about it. So.
All right,
Yeah.
Kiefer, thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's go to Rachel Alexander joining us from the stream. Rachel, good morning.
Good morning.
We take a look at where we are as we approach the midterms. How would you judge the mood of America right now?
I think the mood of America is leaning slightly more conservative than usual due to the Kavanaugh hearings. People were so disgusted with how he was treated that I think there's going to be a bit of a backlash against the Democrats.
Well, that is good. Of course, you have everybody else. Are we in unusual times, Rachel, when we have everybody predicting gloom and doom, as they did during the general election, and, we have people such as yourself saying, I think something different's going on here. Could we see a red tsunami as opposed to a blue wave?
Yeah, if we hadn't had the Kavanaugh hearing, there might not have been this shift to the red that I see. But I still don't think there would have been a huge blue wave. I'm looking at these races around the country, and the Democrats they're not pulling ahead. Here in Arizona, Kirsten Sinema, they kept saying she was going to have a chance at winning the Senate, and she's now down 6 points behind the Republican.
What type of state is Arizona? It was a John McCain state. It was a Goldwater state for years. Immigration, obviously, a tough issue there. Joe Arpaia, Jeff Flake. Are you moderate? Are you conservative? What's up there?
It's generally conservative. The problem is you've had McCain in for so long, and Flake was conservative in the beginning. His record still isn't that bad. But you have the GOP establishment coming in like they did in the primary to replace Flake. And they spent all this money against the conservative candidate. So now we've got yet another moderate, that's probably going to end up in the Senate, but it's not reflective of Arizona.
Let's talk a little bit about your article on stream.org, and that is the left is trying to eliminate the phrase fake news?
Yeah, they don't like it because Trump has, as they call it, weaponized it. And it ends up making them look bad. The left-wing media, whenever they spin things and put their bias in, conservatives now just refer to them as fake news, and people are less likely to read them.
Well, it does seem to be this battle for content. How does someone moderate or conservative overcome the inundation of the propaganda, not really the news anymore, one we see on network and cable television?
I just say avoid them. There's Trump just tweeted out, what was it, yesterday or the day before, that 92% of the news on ABC, NBC, and CBS is negative about him. So I just would not watch any of those, and I wouldn't watch on the cable side. I wouldn't watch CNN or MSNBC. I just stick with Fox News all day.
Well, I think the president and Fox News would like that, but again, it comes down to educating yourself, and that's where your publication comes in, right?
Oh, definitely. The Stream is a great site, if you're conservative leaning. And, we're real careful, too. We don't put out conspiracy stuff. We don't race to get the news out and then have to retract it later. You can trust what you're going to find on the Stream. It's not going to be, poor quality journalism.
Well, and that's the issue. And finally, Rachel, your other article, The Creepy Line, How Google and Facebook Manipulate Our Society Today. Say it ain't so.
Yeah, it's an awesome documentary. I encourage everyone, if you've got Amazon or Amazon Prime, to watch it. It's out right now. And it basically discusses two things. How, one, everybody thinks Google's so harmless and free for its search engine and all of its apps that it's come out with. But the reality is it's creating profiles of everybody and selling your information to advertisers, so you're going to be inundated with targeted advertising. And then the second thing is Google is able to manipulate their search results. And this guy who was a Hillary Clinton supporter, he did a study, and he found that if you searched on the presidential election in 2016, the results were overwhelmingly positive about Hillary and negative about Trump.
Rachel, anything else you'd like to share with us? I'm putting that on my watch list right now.
Oh, well, just that. Check my next article that'll be coming out early next week, also on Google, and how they are trying to suppress free speech.
That's the scary part when you think about it. I had a friend of mine, Robert Spencer, who is the founder of Jihad Watch. He went on a talk show, and they posted a photo of him, and Facebook zapped him right away. And this guy's a New York Times best-selling author.
Oh, it's horrible. My friend John Hawkins from Right Wing News, they just took down his Facebook page and his Twitter account.
Rachel, if you're not doing anything, maybe we should look at starting the conservative alternative to that.
Oh, gosh, that was always in my list of things to do. It's just you need to be a billionaire in order to have a really effective, competitive, app.
I'm with you. Rachel Alexander, we so appreciate you, thestream.org. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on. God bless.
God bless. Ray, do we have anybody still on the line? I know R&R and Hank were there last hour. Well, let's just roll. Let's go to R&R, and then we'll go to Hank. R&R, good morning. Thank you for your patience. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller.
Sir, yes, sir. Oh, the jester of the mountain people, K. Millie. Well, I'll just start. It occurs to me, if we're going to use the term Republican, it might be time to even, for glossary terms, get it defined what a Republican is, because you must be a constitutional republic believer. You can't even be a can. That would be the first one. I'd like to know what Hank, what a beautiful man. He's going to follow me. Alas, we've all waited our whole lives just to talk to each other at this point, so I'll be patient. And then I tried to get in right there with the end of the discussion about where the economy's going. It's just sad to me. I lived through the loss of 87 and 2008 and everything that's been gained. I'm just chuckling. Everything that's been gained this year gets about washed away again. So, you just got to hang on and own what you own and call what's yours yours. You can't. I really haven't made any forward progression in a whole lot of investments, even after doing it for 40 years. So I guess it's a given. I just want to go down in record as saying I do believe in a constitutional republic, and I'm a registered independent for right at 50 years. So that's a given. And I just think it's amazing here at the School of Osteopath in Idaho. It warms my heart that there's such good people that close by, and that school's just phenomenal. I guess if you could ask one of them today, one of my favorite moments during the week was when talking to Tess, and you go, wait, you rub the sauce on your man, and your man becomes a woman. So you ask one of those osteopaths if it's possible, and you say, "Hey, did I say stop rubbing on the sauce?" It's peculiar because I use tea tree oils, a derivative of a plant in the outback of the native indigenous in Australia. So I just know I've got to stop using it because I don't want to turn into a woman. And
well,
then,
some people want to do that R&R, but let me grab Hank real quick before we take a break.
Peace, bye.
All right, R&R. He loved that conversation from last week. By the way, if you miss any of the program, you can always go to our website, KIDOTalkRadio.com, and check out the podcast. Let's go to Hank in Boise with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Hank.
Good morning. I wanted to talk to Dave Petzel to point out that there have been mistakes by the Federal Reserve on both sides of the ledger. First thing, in Milton Friedman's history of the United States currency supply, 1872 to 1964, he pointed out that the Federal Reserve jacked interest rates way too high, made the price of money and it was the major contributing factor to the severity of the Depression. And also, on the other extreme matter, was Richard Nixon's appointment of John Burns as Federal Reserve Chairman in the late 60s and early 70s, which basically he was too loose with the money supply, and combined with Nixon's ill-advised wage and price controls, created an double-digit inflationary situation that led to the worst recession we had up to the 2008 recession in the mid-70s and early 80s. So the Federal Reserve is not infallible by any means. The other point I would raise in it is we had a new factor, and I think Trump was right to fire a shot over the bow. Many of these financiers and people who are in the Reserve are hardcore liberal Democrats. I mean, from Bloomberg on, I mean, you can name it. And if they're capable of politicizing the FBI and politicizing the Justice Department, they're quite capable of politicizing the Federal Reserve. In other words, screwing things up to deliberately create an economic, even though they might take them in the short, they may try this in order to defeat Trump. And the Democrats are desperate to try an all press attack to get back into power. Because basically, if they stay out of power, all three wings, their whole party exists basically to redistribute our money to their interest groups. And so there's a kind of a hint of desperation and ideology and political desperation in the Democrats' attempts. So I think Trump was fully justified in firing a shot towards the Federal Reserve.
Well, I agree with that, and as Ray Amaya said, I agree with him. I think it's the October surprise, which we'll talk about next. Hank, thank you for the call.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We're promoting our school, securing our future, live from the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you for joining us. Let's get you to work safely and on time.
Larry Gebert.
And let's go back to the phones. Liberty Linda joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Good morning, Kevin. You know, how about suggesting to Jeff for advertising Kevin Miller, everybody's best friend, or Kevin Miller, our best friend? Just a thought, Kevin.
Well, look, we always need help with advertising, so thank you, Liberty Linda.
Well, you're everybody's best friend. So anyway, you know, I was cruising on the television yesterday and happened on a liberal news station, and I thought I would just stop for a minute and listen just for fun. Kevin, it wasn't very much fun. In fact, it was horrible. It was constant hate speech. They said that they tell their children not to tune into the television during the day. They can't watch it because they may tune in and listen to President Trump. How about that? I actually heard him say that.
Wow.
And anyway, yes. Did you hear about the guy that left his car at the bar? And he came back.
Are you doing is this like a shtick? Are you doing a routine here, Liberty Linda?
No, well, I'm just going through all the news of the day.
Okay, well, I you know, this could be a new segment on the program. review and commentary on the news from Liberty Linda.
Okay. It sounds good to me. I just wondered if anybody heard about it, because the next morning when he picked up his car, someone had torched it. And there was he said the only reason that someone could have torched his car or would have is because he had Trump bumper stickers on it.
I think I did hear that story.
Yeah, so I thought I would share that, because of what's happened to me and others, that, we can't even have bumper stickers on our car anymore. So anyway, I wanted to share that because of that.
Well, we love it when you share.
Yes. So anyway, hey, how about Tommy Alquist calling in yesterday?
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure, yeah.
Next Wednesday, not only all next week are we giving away tickets to the PBR, and we're going to be at Ed's 50s Cafe a week from today in Meridian.
Oh, no.
We are going to have, next Wednesday, we're going to have Bill O'Reilly on. And how do you top Bill O'Reilly? Dr. Tommy Alquist.
Oh, wow. Did you say you're having Tommy Alquist as well?
He'll be in studio at 8 o'clock next Wednesday.
Ah, wow. What a show. Your shows are great anyway, but, oh, how wonderful. Maybe we can talk him into running for president. What do you think in 4 years?
Well, you better call in and do that. Liberty Linda, I'm already late. I have to run, though.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Appreciate you. Kevin Miller in the morning. You're listening to 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's find out what happened while you were sleeping. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Kevin.
And good morning once again. Kevin Miller in the morning here, broadcasting from Meridian, Idaho. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We'll get to your phone calls in a minute. Joining us now is Jenna. She is a, first-year medical student, BSU grad. Been in the Treasure Valley for a long time and from Northern California. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us here at KIDO Talk Radio. So what brings you here to ICOM?
ICOM is just a really great option for me. I knew I wanted to stay in the Treasure Valley, and when ICOM opened their application, I was right on the ball and actually with the first interview group to be here.
Well, and being of BSU, it was perfect for you to, just continue on here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even need to move. It was great. I had my house all set up, and actually my roommate's a BSU student, so it's working out really well for me.
So, though, when you started BSU, there was no ICOM even in the picture. It just slowly kind of crept into fruition just as you were navigating your academic career. It worked out well for you.
Absolutely. I say things have a way of working themselves out. I actually started Boise State as a pre-vet major, so I was pretty content that I was going to veterinary school, and a lot of things changed my mind, and medical school popped into the picture.
Was it that opportunity?
No, actually, it was before ICOM was even a thing in my mind. I knew I wanted to go to medical school, and then I heard about this great new college coming to Idaho, and I was like, wait, this is really cool. This might work out.
It just might work out. Ever the optimist. So tell us a little bit about the application process. How stringent was it for you? How demanding was it for you?
It was very demanding. I'd say, I studied for the admissions test for at least 6 months, 8 hours a day, then 12 hours a day over the summer. That was rough. And then the application process, it's a lot. I actually applied to 17 medical schools. Each of those have their own primary application and then their own secondary application, which consists of anywhere from 3 to 5 500-word essays. So I was doing a lot of writing.
So what would be the topics of those essays?
A lot of them were talking about what you want to see change in healthcare, where are some areas that need assistance in healthcare, why do you even want to go into medicine, a lot of self-exploration and talking about current topics in healthcare.
Did you learn a lot by writing those essays?
Yeah,
about yourself?
Absolutely. I did a lot of self-exploration, and I learned a lot about myself and could really figure out my motivations for wanting to be in the healthcare world.
So for people just tuning in right now that didn't hear your fellow student Kiefer at the top of the hour, what's your average day like?
So our average day is we have 4 hours of lecture in the morning, so 4 different lectures, and then we have a lunch break, and then we go to some sort of lab, whether that be anatomy lab or osteopathic manipulative medicine lab or an alternative learning activity or small groups, anything like that. So we have our lectures in the morning and then a group activity or lab in the afternoon.
And then what type of work do you have to do on your own?
It's pretty much trying to get all of this information, everything you can, into your head.
Right?
Yeah. So I usually, I'll go home because I like to study at home, but I'll go home and rewrite all my notes for the day and look over all the lectures that I'm confused about, I'll rewatch and stuff like that.
Sure. Being the first class here, what goes on in your mind? Did you get a sense of history, or are you, focusing in on rewriting the notes to understand this is really big for the state of Idaho?
Yeah, it's absolutely huge, and I think it's a really great thing. Idaho's lacking in primary care and health care overall, so I think ICOM being here is a great opportunity for us as, studying physicians to make a change.
Now, would you like to stay in Idaho? Have you thought about that long? Or?
Idaho currently doesn't have the residency program I'm looking for, so I won't be able to stay for my 3 years after medical school, but I would love to come back and practice.
Well,
here.
you never know. ICOM didn't exist when you started.
Exactly.
BSU.
Yeah, we never know.
It seems to work out well for you, which that makes one of us. So anything else you'd like to share with people that are driving right now? And, we promote our schools every week and, the impact it will have on their lives.
Yeah, I think us as, 162 students are just really excited to be here and be able to be the first class and make a difference. That's all of our goals, is we want to better the healthcare not only in Idaho but beyond as well.
Well, Jenna, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See, well, that wasn't so bad. You have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio. Now, Mrs. Miller just gave me a text. She goes, I am hearing heavy breathing, so that's not anybody else. That would be me. I guess I have a cold and such. So, Chandler, you need to continue to monitor and look at me when all of a sudden I'm breathing heavy. That's not the message that we want to have here on the air. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Rachel Sutherland, joins us from Fox News Radio. Remember, when you're listening to KIDO Talk Radio in the Treasure Valley on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, you're listening to your official home of Fox News Radio. Why is that important? Well, we get to talk to Rachel about a variety of stories. Live from Capitol Hill, her office just maybe a block, maybe a little less, a little more from Capitol Hill itself. Joining us now, Rachel, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
So we have Kanye in the White House. We have the president not giving a judo chop, but certainly responding to the former attorney general's comments about kick 'em.
Absolutely, yeah. Eric Holder saying, taking First Lady Michelle Obama's kind of phrase and twisting it, when they go low, we kick them instead of course, go high. And she actually had something to say about that. She wasn't too happy about that. The president was on Fox and Friends and saying he better be careful what he asks for, what he wishes for. But, when it comes to politics and civility, it just seems to have just gone out the window. Let's face it, on both sides. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of dinner time conversation available, anything appropriate for just being in a school classroom is just kind of gone if you think about it.
Well, indeed, and then you have the performance by Kanye West yesterday in between.
Kanye West was able to single-handedly make Americans forget there was a hurricane for a little while.
Right.
It was definitely a sight to behold with him there, with the president, with the "Make America Great Again" hat, and this kind of a stream of consciousness discussion about I don't know how many issues.
Well, and certainly the profanity.
Yeah,
from Kanye West.
It was. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Certainly, the profanity is nothing that we're used to seeing from a presidential press event in the Oval Office.
Oh well, certainly the Oval Office is definitely if the walls could talk kind of thing. There's probably been tons of words slung around. Just usually not broadcast live, but it is fascinating. And then, of course, there's a lot of media reaction, some of it not positive to Kanye West, but it appears that he has a very unique relationship with President Trump. I mean, he got up and ran around to the other side and hugged him. Some are saying that Kanye West is not stable, but he's saying that, this bipolar diagnosis was wrong, that he was just sleep deprived, and some might argue, who cares? Even if he is bipolar, who cares? Because it doesn't mean he doesn't have anything to say. He's got his opinions, and he certainly gave them.
He did indeed. Rachel, we appreciate it. I'd say enjoy the weekend, but knowing you'll probably be working.
You too, Kevin.
Thank you. Ray, do we have anybody left on the lines at all? All right. Let's go to Pete in Boise with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Pete, I'm sorry. Thanks for your patience.
Oh, no problem at all, Mr. Miller. How are you this morning?
You were that young man that said Paulette Jordan's going to win this one, weren't you?
I am. You remember me.
Oh, I do indeed. What can we do for you this morning?
A couple things. I talked with my mortgage banker, Mr. Jeffrey Austin. I made the mistake of saying former Marine once. Once
oh, yeah.
Marine, always a Marine.
They don't like that, yeah.
They do not like that. He's very straight. Anyway, my current payoff amount on my house is $68,412.17. So I wish I had a ranch to bet, but I don't. So $20 at a time, I'd like to bet $68,412.17 on Paulette to win.
Really? I thought we were doing lunch.
This is not with you. You and I are lunch. And I have some interesting proposition bets. 10-1 that Paulette Jordan, Kristen Cullum, Jill Humble, and Cindy Wilson all win. 20-1 that Aaron Swisher upsets Mike Simpson. And then this is my favorite long shot, 100-1 that my tough little Hispanic lady, I'm going to say Mexican, Christina McNeil beats Russ Fulcher.
You really think that's going to happen?
I do. She destroyed her two opponents in the Democratic primary. She won by a landslide, 69.3%. And the way people can find me, I'm going to start wearing a Hunter Orange Carhartt watch cap. So if they see, if you're in the woods, there may be other people wearing that, but at Merritt's, around town, if you see somebody wearing a Hunter Orange Carhartt watch cap.
All right, Pete, we've jumped the shark on that one. Thank you for the call, and good luck with your long shots. You're going to need it. Greg, good morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Greg, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Sorry for the wait, sir.
Hello, is this Kevin?
Is this Greg?
Craig with a C. Constitution Craig is the name I'm going to take, all right?
Constitution Craig, good morning.
Darn right. We got One America News. I just don't hear enough about it. It's awesome. The commercials about the constitutional amendments of our country are stories about Clarence Thomas, OANN.com on the Pooter, and 347 on DirecTV. It's fabulous. It's what Fox News never became. So One America News, please. It's the best. Also, if you want another perk for Liberty Linda, watch the movie The Second Civil War. It's all about Idaho closing its borders. Politically incorrect, but hilarious, fun movie, et cetera, et cetera. Thanks, Donald Trump, for being such a great guy. I think he's got the same DNA as George Washington, refounding our country with the principles it was started with. The guy's phenomenal. He sleeps about 4 hours a night, 72 years old, and going like a teenager. He could have been the rest of his life in a jet or a yacht somewhere with triple the security of any president, but guess what? He chose this job instead. I'm impressed. So thank you, Kevin Miller, for my moment. Constitution Craig out in Greenleaf. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. More coming up next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Todd Christensen joining us now from CapEd Credit Union to hang out, promoting our school, securing our future. Todd, you were instrumental in getting us into this facility. This is amazing.
Over the last year plus, we've had an opportunity to interface with the great folks here at ICOM, and it's close to our facility, close to our admin facility over here off of Stratford Drive, and so we had an opportunity to watch the facility come out of the ground, and as they've hired staff, and we've created a great relationship with them, and so it's our opportunity to introduce you and the community to Idaho's first medical school.
Well, and we take a look at the impact this school will have, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the line.
And 3, 4, 10 decades down the line as well. So it's not only a short-term item, but it's a long-term item, and being able to provide the medical staff and the medical professionals, not only for our state, but also for our surrounding states, and primarily as they've shared, helping the rural communities make sure they have good medical care.
Indeed. Traffic and weather together.
Larry Gabbert.
And coming up more with Todd Christensen in a minute. First, let's go to Elvis. Elvis, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning.
Good morning, Elvis.
Hello?
Go ahead, please.
Well, I just heard a guy come on. I think it was R&R. Said he's been at his house.
Well, that was Pete.
Oh, Pete. Yes, Pete. So I would say I got about a $5,000 that says she's not going to win.
Everybody's taking the bets on the governor's race.
Yeah, I'll take that one any day.
Well, we're a family-friendly show. We don't really condone the gambling here.
It's not condoning. It's just a friendly little wager.
Okay. Well, Elvis, glad to see you're still with us.
Thanks. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Todd Christensen returns to talk a little bit about financing and such. Before we get to CapEd, we'll talk a little bit about the CapEd Advantage coming up next hour here on KIDO Talk Radio. You take a look at just the markets and the interest rates, a lot of churn all of a sudden going on financially.
Well, I would say that just hold steady. It's okay. Don't panic too much. Life works out. I think as the student shared earlier here in the program that life works out. There's a lot of emotion that is in the marketplace today, but just understand that day by day, get up in the morning, put your pants on the same way you've done the day before, and approach the new day the same way that you approached the day yesterday. And life does work out.
We take a look at the Treasure Valley, and it's been a while since I've asked you this, just the growth, CapEd growing, neighborhoods growing. We see, the growth in the valley, going, past Meridian now. It's amazing the amount of industry coming here, including ICOM.
Well, and you look at the center of the valley, the Meridian line is actually becoming more and more, and I think will even become more pronounced in the coming years and decades. The Meridian's going to be the middle of the Treasure Valley. You see the incredible West Ada School District that's close by here, their district office. You have Renaissance High School that is a great choice for families within the West Ada School District. You have Idaho State University right next door here, and now Idaho's first medical school, and the complexes that are building up around this community, and not only Meridian, but the greater Treasure Valley, whether it be Star, Middleton, Cuna, and the continued growth there, Caldwell, Nampa. So it's great to see that our community continues to grow and is thriving very well.
Well, and you take a look at the announcement last week by Dr. Ahlquist. There's going to be that new hospital, I guess retail area around Chinden as well, some
Correct.
Big medical park.
Being able to see the continued expansion, and not only just expansion for expansion's sake, but also well-planned opportunities. I know that you've had Dr. Ahlquist on the air, and as you shared earlier in the program that he's going to be on next week. And his vision as he's working with other developers in the community, those type of visions continue to help the Treasure Valley be what Treasure Valley is and why it's attracting individuals not only from California, but now Washington and Oregon, and individuals within the state of Idaho being attracted to a great community.
Right, and they're all looking for financing.
They're all looking for financing, so we're happy to service them.
More coming up with our great friend Todd Christensen, CapEd Credit Union. We love teachers. They love teachers. We'll talk a little bit more about how to get the most for your money live from ICOM. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Fox News next.